Hello, hello. My name is Kim Addis. I am the president and founder of Frame of Mind Coaching, and you have just joined the Frame of Mind Coaching podcast, where we invite leaders from all over the world to come onto the podcast and get coached live and in person. Today, my guest is Joe Liu. He is the CEO and founder of a new concept called Heal House of Canada. Joe, welcome.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for having me.
I love the term heal because I use it in my coaching and I use it as an acronym to help people make decisions. But I won't talk about that. Tell us a little bit. What is Heal House of Canada? What's the concept?
So Heal House of Canada was actually first stemmed from my own struggles. Not only my own personal health struggles, but it was also because of my son. So my son was born with a very rare duplicated chromosome in the lumbar Q7. And when he was a few years old, he was just very quiet. He didn't make any noises, right? So we brought him to Sick Children's, and they ran tests on him, and they actually told us about this rare disease. They said that at that point in time, there was no data on this disease. So they couldn't even tell us what's going to happen to my son, or, how his future is going to be like. So as a parent, as a concerned parent, I at that time was panicking, a lot of stress, a lot of uncertainties. And we continue with our prayers, and we were very thankful in being able to find these different healing modalities, right? So healing modalities such as biophotomodulations, sound frequencies, bioresonance technology, using a lot of things like quantum physics. So that's kind of our journey, because we were able to discover these technologies and start applying them and building, using my experience in real estate, trying to improve the user experience in the health and wellness space.
Okay. So can you go back to your son for a minute? So you discovered he was quiet and you were wondering, why is he like, did he cry?
He barely cried. That's the thing that was concerning for us as a parent, right? He didn't make any noises. And as he was growing up, when he was about 4 years old, he wasn't really saying any words. He was saying like mom, dad, just one words. He wasn't putting together sentences.
Right.
And I think the defining moment for me, Kim, was I remember dropping him off at recess, and all the kids were playing with each other, and he was just sitting there in the corner by himself, playing with himself, like crouched down, nobody around, just playing with himself, speaking to himself. That to me as a parent broke my heart. And, at that point I told myself, no matter what I have to do, I want to be able to go down that path and create a journey, right, to help solve this issue for my son. And now my son is 10 years old. We're so proud of him. He's made eye contact. He smiles, he laughs. He's an amazing personality. He loves video games. He loves WWE.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as a parent, to see that transition, because of the frequencies and because of working spiritually with him and, helping with rebalancing his chakras, it's amazing, and it's so rewarding. And when you feel this reward as a parent, as a businessman, I think to myself, I want the entire world to feel this, right?
Yeah.
I want to share this with the world.
So is he talking now, or is he still
He's
communicating?
He's verbal now, right? So
he's verbal. Okay.
Yeah, he's verbal. He communicates. He's able to put together sentences, but he's not at a level of a 10-year-old.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
So we're still working on that front.
Okay. Amazing. Okay. So your background is in real estate.
Yes.
And how did you find these new healing modalities? How did you find this stuff to help your son?
So yes, again, my background's in real estate. Started real estate in my early 20s. Building, flipping homes, and then got into commercial real estate about 6 years ago, and that was kind of my focus up until in the last few years when we were starting to look at more into these healing modalities. And I've had an amazing, co-founder in Franco Camillo. I was fortunate enough to meet another gentleman that kind of introduced me to some of the sound frequencies and magnetic frequencies, such as PMF. And it was definitely a journey to go through and learn all of these different technologies with them. And we decided that let's improve on it. Like, if we're gonna do it, I've always been the type of person that if I was gonna do something, I don't want to almost half-ass it, right? I wanna go all the way, right? So, right, even when we started with real estate, we bought our first property for, I remember, $830,000, right? And then we took the $830,000 and we doubled down, and then we increased our portfolio size to close to $30 million in 5 years, right? So I've always been kind of that big mind, big set mentality, and now this is what I want to spend my time and energy on to help build in Heal House.
Okay, so what is your greatest challenge? What can I help you with today?
So the greatest challenge for me is really just raising awareness, right? We're building a marketing platform with some very, very talented people. We're looking for for the right synergy, right? So even when we're interviewing our naturopath, our chiropractor, our nurse practitioner, and now we're actually looking for a physician, right? A general practitioner, right? Where we want everybody to have like the same emotion, vision that we have, right? That we share. That is to care for for people. Like, I mean, how many times have we walked inside and feel that we're just a number? Yeah, so pretty much just wanted to let everybody feel like that they're special. We want to kind of offer these different modalities and kind of raise awareness and let them know that there's other ways for the body to really heal itself. If we look at natural healing, right? We look at Mother Earth provides everything in this world for us to be able to heal ourselves. Like, if you look at the four seasons and how the rose petals or the chrysanthemums and the way it grows, and during those seasons, that's the teas or the vegetables that you're supposed to eat, right? So part of Heal House, what we're doing is we're building a live cooking stage, right?
Okay.
And so with the live cooking stage, it's exciting for me because we believe that we can heal people with food. So you can actually go online, pick your favorite chefs. We're interviewing chefs now. The chefs are all holistic chefs. They will prepare the food ahead of time. They will go on stage with their microphone and two massive 100-inch projection screens behind them. And then you're sitting there and they're describing to you, what foods they're cooking, where they're locally sourced from, the nutritional value behind it, eating for your blood type, eating for your DNA, all this type of information. And as soon as the meal is done, within 30 to 40 minutes, you get to eat that food. And
Right.
if you really enjoy it, now you can go ahead on our Heal House website and you can start buying the meal prep.
Got it. Okay, so go back. I want to just kind of focus in on your challenge. You're saying that your challenge is awareness. And so, but you have a marketing team and you have all the pieces put in place. So I want to kind of focus in on you as the leader. What is your challenge?
Yes. So my challenge is that I come from a real estate background.
Yeah.
I am now, for the last year, building Heal House. It's a health and wellness space, right? So, I mean, how do people trust an entrepreneur that's not a doctor, right? Or in the medical field, right? So that's why I'm surrounding myself with practitioners that are educating me day in, day out, right? So I can learn about the space. So I think that's my greatest challenge as the CEO of this company.
So there are two kinds of challenges, right? One is a tactical challenge, and one is a challenge that is a little more, let's call it internal, right?
Yes.
So from a tactical standpoint, strategic standpoint, you're addressing this challenge perfectly, right? You're addressing the fact that, hey, I might not have the kind of credibility that I want, so I'm going to align myself with people who have credibility. And
Right.
also, I have this great story and I'm telling it really well. And look at me, I look fantastic and I look healthy. And so you're a great spokesperson for the company,
Thank you.
no question, right? So I don't think that your problem is actually strategic at all. You're doing all the right things, you're aligning yourself properly. There is no strategic problem. There might be another problem, and even that I'm not sure. But the problem is internal. In other words, you're saying, well, here's my background, and I have some beliefs around the fact that some people might not buy my story.
Hmm. I
And
see
that
where
has
you're going with
nothing,
this.
right? And that has nothing to do with strategy. Because again, you're mobilizing, you're bringing all the right pieces to the table. But for you, it's like, yeah, but maybe I still have a little bit of self doubt,
Yes, 100%. So,
right?
when you ask me of a challenge, right, it's automatically implementing something in my head and setting myself a limitation, right? So where my mindset should be, and it's almost like following the Joe Dispenza model, the Deepak Chopra model, is that don't set any limitations. Don't allow them to be any challenges. We have to look at challenges as opportunities. How do we overcome these opportunities?
Well, okay, so let's do that with you, right? Because you're obviously kind of into, all the inspirational stuff, and I don't have to kind of do anything. But here we go. The question becomes, how is your background in real estate? How is your background with your son? How is your background actually an advantage over all the other people who are credible sources?
Yeah. So I look at life as a different array of tests, right? And so having my son, it's a test for me, right? And the test that I have to overcome now, right, is to try to problem solve. It's a puzzle. I have to try to solve this problem with my son, and finding solving this problem with my son also will lead me to help find uh, other opportunities to solve problems for other people with other diseases, right? And that drive that I have, that was in real estate, right, that had the ability for me to create amazing user experiences, the drive to be able to help like raise capital and management and think of like larger scale business, right? That's the opportunity that I feel I created, that I'm bringing and differentiates from, let's say, a practitioner.
Yes. And so in your past experience and your ability to grow a business, what you have is inherently the ability to get this into more hands,
Yes.
the ability to have wider reach, the ability to have greater level of influence, the ability to impact people's lives in a bigger, broader way. Right.
Kim,
So
I'm getting goosebumps just when you're speaking to me. It's amazing. I love it.
So that's awesome. But here's the thing is when you have self-doubt, when we have self-doubt, right?
Mhm.
Very often we come up with all the reasons why something might not work, why we're
Mhm.
not equipped, why we're
Yeah.
not smart enough, why we don't have credibility, all the nots, right? All the why not. And
Yes.
what I want to say to people is that when you have self-doubt, ask yourself, rather than why not, but why? Why am I uniquely equipped for this? What
Mhm.
is it about me? What am I truly bringing to the table that absolutely nobody else in the world brings to the table? And so, and not only does that help you kind of craft your story and leverage the positioning and all of that stuff, but it allows you to quiet the self doubt that happens inside of you.
Mhm.
Right. So for me, for example, there are many, many, many coaches in the world, right? There's so many now. When I first started, I was one of the fewer coaches, but now the industry is flooded. What differentiates me from anybody else? It's me. It's my unique vantage point. It's my unique sound. It's my curly hair sometimes, but it's also my experience, my background, my view of the world, my history, my culture, all of that stuff, that when you bring it all together, there's no comparative other coach in the world. And so for you, it's very important for you to say, what is my unique contribution to this? How is my role in this actually an advantage as opposed to a disadvantage? And I think you're very clear on it. It's easy for you to see. I want to throw one more thing in at you, however, and it's beyond your business, it's your son.
Mhm.
I want to just kind of back up and share a bit of a story. I coached a gentleman once, many, many years ago, and his son, when he was 12 years old, he was playing basketball, and his son had a heart attack. And he was
Mhm.
airlifted to the hospital, but it took a long time to get there. By the time they got him to the hospital, he had brain damage, irreversible brain damage. And by the time I met this client, this was maybe, you know, 7, 8 years after the event had taken place. And when I spoke to this client, he said, a lot of great things are going on in my life. I have a wonderful business, a wonderful wife. I have great friends. I'm healthy. All is good. But I just don't feel any level of peace with this, with my son. The son I had, he's no longer, he's gone. And I just don't know how to find that peace within myself. And what we did, we worked together. He ended up writing a book about his experience with his son. But what he discovered, and I think that you will discover this too, and perhaps you've already discovered it, is that his son wasn't a test for him. His son was his teacher.
Mhm. Yeah.
And his son helped him become the man and the father that he was, one
Mhm.
that was dedicated to his family, one that was present and loyal and helpful and engaged,
Mhm.
right? And so I would encourage you to see your son as your teacher as opposed to your test,
I love that, Kim. Thank you. Thank you for that.
right? And it just turns everything upside down. But your son is actually the driver of who you are becoming.
Mhm.
And if you see it that way, the feeling about it also kind of shifts, although your feelings are already really great, but it has an impact.
See, the thing is, I believe that we're all energy sources, right? I'm sure you believe the same, right? So, being an energy source, you have different vibrational frequencies, right? And whether your mindset, your attitude, sets your vibrational frequency. And Kim, you're a coach, right? And you've set this amazing podcast out there. You're displaying a lot of love, inspiration in the world. So you set your vibrational frequency at a higher level, right? And now those people that want to either start vibrating at that higher frequency, or they feel connected to people like yourself or Kim that is setting that bar of vibrational frequency, you become a magnet. And what happens is all those people, all that energy is starting to connect and then they amplify.
That's right. Right. And so what's happening for you is that your experience with your son is bringing to you all kinds of amazing experiences, but your son is the catalyst, right? And
Yes.
it's super interesting. But I love your story. I love what you're doing with it. I love what you're trying to do with the world and for the
Thank you.
world. And I love the positioning on really giving people extraordinary experiences in healthcare. So my hat's off to you. Way to
Thank
go.
you.
How do people find you if they're interested in learning more about the services that you provide?
So we're just completing our website now. We're building our entire social platform. Where we want to be ahead of the game, so we're being very very creative in creating an amazing platform that people can reach out at. Some of the things that we're doing for Heal House is that we've actually purchased a 45-room retirement home. We're including health and wellness inside a retirement home. That's very very unique, and I would love to share the story. Um, uh, Across the board with that, as well as we would have our main headquarters in King City, and we're building the first Heal House Go van, which is a health and wellness on the go service, which we've taken Mercedes Sprinter vans and completely redecked them out. And I would love to share photos with you,
Oh,
so
I
you
would
could
love to
share it on
see
your
those.
platform.
Yes,
Yeah.
please do. And please give us the website where people can go. This when you're ready, we'll share it with people as well. What's the website?
It will be www.healhouse.ca.
Awesome. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. Thank you for being on the podcast with me. I can't wait to see what happens next when I age and I need a retirement home. I know where to go. For those of you who are listening, if there's a challenge that you want to share on the podcast, please reach out to me. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. And if you have a challenge that you want to talk about, but perhaps not so much on the podcast, please reach out to me as well. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. And just to wrap up, this whole issue of feeling a sense of self-doubt is common, especially for entrepreneurs. And when you have that feeling, ask yourself the question, how am I uniquely designed? What do I uniquely bring to the table that nobody else has? And how am I the advantage in this situation? So I just want to say thank you for being on the podcast with me. And I do hope to see how this unfolds with you down the road.
Thank you so much, Kim. You're amazing.